To record. Hello, everyone. Dr. Chris Thorne here from Live Well Chiropractic and Wellness Center here. I've been trying to reach out to everyone on a regular basis, just to kind of offer some words of encouragement to kind of help us all through really these unprecedented times that we're going through. So as I have been, again, trying to wrap my head around what's going on and kind of regrounding myself to my normal routines and rituals to keep me healthy through this time. One of the people that just keeps coming to my mind is stuff that I've been reconnecting with and connecting to is one of my shining lights in my life and my world and stuff is Lisa Donatelli. So I wanted to bring her on so she can kind of share her unique perspective of what she's thinking. She has a family, she's a teacher, so she's also helping students, and a lot of people out there just to kind of see a different perspective. So I wanted to bring her on just so she can actually share some of her insights. So again, I want to thank you, Lisa, for jumping on this call with me and discussing some few things. So talk to us a little bit about your perspective, what's going on, how we all can make through this opportunity, highlight opportunity, really healthy and well at the end.
Okay, well, do you think it's okay if we back up a little bit and talk about like what we're actually seeing?
Yes, absolutely.
In the world. Like what I see a lot of happening is a lot of fear.
Mm-hmm.
A fear, when I say fear, I'm seeing a lot of fear of the future.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even things that are happening right now today in our lives. It's what could happen.
Mm-hmm.
What could happen to me? I could get sick.
Mm-hmm.
My child could get sick. What if my mom gets sick? Everything, a lot of people are living in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So when we live in the future, we create such anxiety within ourselves.
Absolutely.
And then when we get that anxious feeling in ourselves, what we're putting ourselves is in that stress response.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are living all day long, a long time in the stress response, and we're not built for that.
No.
And it creates that horrible chemical in us, cortisol.
Mm-hmm.
And that cortisol was once good way back in the day when we had to use it to run from the tigers.
Yes.
But now we're not shutting it off.
Mm-hmm.
And that cortisol is wreaking havoc. And the number one thing it does in our body is it turns off our immune system.
The very thing we
need our immune system.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, this is a season where we need to have that turned on. And I see everybody walking around with it turned off.
Mm-hmm.
Their growth hormone of, regulating the body is turned off from the stress response.
Mm-hmm.
So that's number one. If they realize just by thinking about things that may happen, what it does to the body.
Absolutely.
And how they are self-sabotaging themselves with that cortisol, shutting off the number one thing that we need right now is our immune system.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to kind of figure out how to go from living in the future, in the anxiousness, to staying now, present, because that's where our health is.
Because right now everyone, and even ones watching it, right? We're healthy, we're fine. If you're watching this, you're in good shape, right? And that's the truth, right?
Yes, that's what I mean. It's like these things, it's an invisible thing that it's not even in the room with you.
Absolutely.
But it's attacking us through our mind right now. And that is something we can control, and then if you do get the virus, that's another thing you can work with, and you still can stay focused and manage it.
Yeah.
But, we don't have to bring the things from the future in now.
Yeah.
And so it's, a lot of the fear is really the pandemic that I see.
Yeah, and fear, like as I've been trying to educate people, is really a loss of control, right? I mean, when you're fearful and stuff, you're losing control over what is going on and stuff. And I'm trying to lean a lot of my patients that you're not lost in control. There's so many things you can do to stay healthy, as you're talking about, that you really can minimize your risk and stuff and really be healthy and stuff. So even if you kind of even start to think about those ranges and stuff, think about the things you can control.
Right.
Which is your health, which is where you're focusing at. That's another big thing. Where are we putting our attention focus mentally is? Are we focusing all the fear bases on the TV, or are we focusing about the joy and abundance around us, right? So that's a huge thing for, I think, to help a lot of people through this.
Yeah, there's like fear and then there's love. And everything follows in between the two.
Yes.
So we have to move from the fear-based to the more elevated emotions of the gratitude, the compassion, the love. And when we do, that cortisol goes down in the body.
That's right.
You know, and then the endorphins come up, the dopamine, the feel good, which means that's why when you do something for someone else, you feel good.
Awesome. That's right.
You know, and you shut off that stress response and your body just calms down and you feel better.
Cool.
So like you said, in any one situation, when you return to that present, you know, you look around and I have my own private retreat right here. You know?
Yeah.
I can look around, and when I get caught up in it, I just start simple and say, I love my plants. You know, I love to take care of them. They're just give me joy. And then my dog walks in and I breathe and I return to the centerness and I can feel my heart calm down. And it's just a constant reminding yourself to return to the present moment. And then that cortisol will leave quicker. And then our immune system, then that's what we need right now is a good immune system.
Absolutely.
So just different ways, to keep us returning.
So how, I mean, you talked about moving from that fear to love and stuff. So, and you kind of talked about present time consciousness. I'll throw that out there. You know, being connected to where you're actually at, kind of giving love to certain things around you. How else can we kind of shift that mentality? Is there certain practices, certain routines, certain rituals and stuff? How do you bring it back? Because it is really hard on a moment-to-moment basis to kind of not get caught up and kind of whisked away in some of that. So how do you help people or tell other people to kind of reground themselves?
Okay, the number one thing is they have to turn off the TV.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, I mean, we need to stay informed and we need to be educated. Beyond that, the job of the stations and the TV is to basically make money. And they make money off of our fear. And it creates everything that we're talking about. So once we know the facts, turn off the TV. It doesn't do any more good except creating an illusionary future for us that may never happen. And it's, you know, it's destroying us along the way. So especially families with children, I would say turn off the TV. Do not listen to the news. You know, kids are really impacted by that. Then they see their parents get excited, and children, they don't do what you say, they do what you do. So they're watching you really close. And when they see you then call grandma and you talk about the news, and it gets them. And then in kids, it shows this hyperactivity and belly issues and headaches and not sleeping, and they get ornery and they get irritable. So if we could limit the TV, that's number one. You know, watch what you're thinking about. If you're talking about something and it's not making you feel good, stop the conversation. You know, I have to do that with several people in my family because they'll get caught up in the excitement. They like that adrenaline rush that it provides. But in me, I know that that's slippery slope. So I have to change the conversation, you know, or hang up. Or so the news, the TV, watch what you're feeding yourself on the TV. You know, you get in the Netflix binges and you're watching the vampires, then you're having the nightmares at night. You know, and your kids are little, and you wonder why. Well, and then speaking of that, number two would be, I would say, is to keep a routine. We're home. A lot of us are working from home. Some of us are laid off, and we're spending a lot more time at home, and we don't really know what to do with ourselves. Kids and us humans need routine. To keep the equilibrium. So go to bed at the same time, even though we don't have anything to get up striking for. Go to bed at the same time. Like here, we all go to keep the same bedtime. You know, even though we know we can watch another show, no, we shut it off. It's just better. Get up at the same time.
They'll set the same alarm, same time like you were going to work. Absolutely.
And set a routine within the family. You know, here I get up. I meditate before I can get any thoughts into my mind. So I start with a clear slate. And I feel as best as I can. You know, then I walk. And, you know, I have a nice walk. That's the greatest thing in the world to get rid of that cortisol that we talked about earlier. It's built up in us, and we need to sweat a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the gyms are locked down. We don't have to go to the gyms, but you know, you can go up and down, like my daughter goes up and down the steps, you know,
That's
and the
right.
heart beats, the face gets red.
Mm-hmm.
She goes down in the basement, turns on her phone, and
Yep.
does a couple exercise
Exercises, yeah. Mm-hmm.
because it gets rid of the cortisol
Yep.
that we have from the fear.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So
And just getting
yeah,
outside too. A lot of people are, I guess, don't think they can go outside and stuff. So again, sunshine, fresh light, you know, just getting in the all that stuff just is so super. And we're in the midst of a wonderful spring. I mean, this is some of the best weather we've had. So don't miss this opportunity either.
oh, it's the greatest thing in the world to connect for nature, and I think that's such a benefit now that we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
We can take short breaks. Like at work, we used to have to, you know, say we're going to get a coffee, so we give ourselves permission to take a break.
Yeah.
You know, well, during the day we're home now, and we have to create a new coffee break. You go outside.
Mm-hmm.
You know, take your shoes off. Feel the grass. It's so soft right now.
It
You
is.
know, look up, look down, look around, and really appreciate your nice private retreat you have now at home.
Yes.
A lot of people you know, they secretly, we all wanted to stay home and have more time with our kids and not have to get up in the morning. Well, we got it. So let's take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
You know, so keep the routine going. Play.
Mm-hmm.
Take that break and turn on the music and dance.
Mm-hmm.
Let your kids see you being silly. They want moms and dads to play with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not going to remember this time as, oh, it was terrible and we had, you know, this virus. They're going to be like, Mom played with me.
That's right.
Mom danced. Do you
Mm-hmm.
remember when Mom danced around the house and she started cooking every meal and we ate together?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're going to remember the pandemic as that kind of stuff,
mm-hmm.
which I think is really cool.
Yes.
You know,
what memories are we creating, right?
Yes, and this is an opportunity to do all that, and and have fun. Be a role model for your family. If they see you taking care of yourself, you're taking a bath at the end of the day, you're lighting yourself a candle, you're decompressing, you're putting your phone away 2 hours before you go to bed. They're going to do what you do. It's going to be a good routine. Start eating better. This is such an opportunity for all those things that we wanted to do. Now we have the time to think about them and do them.
That's right.
And they work. They're so simple, but they work.
Absolutely. You know? Yeah. So
and that's all the things that gets rid of that cortisol that brings back our immune system. Then we don't even have to have fear to begin with.
Yep. And like
it's such a blessing.
It's such a blessing, and that's what I've just been trying to lean on so many patients and stuff, just to have them see that, like I said, see this as an opportunity, see this as something that, like you said, can be a really impact your health for years on end, whether positively or negatively and stuff, and the choice is up to you and stuff. So
yeah, and even getting up in the morning, like, you know, a lot of people tell me, well, there's something to get up for. Well, yeah, get up and take a shower and do your hair and get dressed and do it for yourself.
That's right.
You know,
have a purpose in the morning and stuff. Get out of bed and get that started. Like I said, that's where people's like, well, where do I get started? Like I said, even if it's just planning out the first 15 minutes or first half hour, even the first hour of your day or whatever, you know, just is huge. It kind of gets you into that rhythm and routine and stuff, just to do that. So it's just about making small steps first and then kind of evolving from there. So yeah, I think that's
it's such a balance of keeping that routine, but not too rigid that you can't have fun.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
It's a really good, a lot of systems are being dismantled now. A lot of opportunities for growth in all kinds of areas, not just within the family. You know, us as schools, we now know we all had to teach ourselves how to remotely teach.
Yep.
You know, we never planned for this. We didn't know how to go online. We're growing in that way. All the stay-at-home businesses, Matt's realizing in his business, they're working harder at home than they did at work. What's that telling us, you know?
That's right. That's right. Yep.
So I guess, like, I always ask myself, who do I want to be when this is over? I'm going to use it as an opportunity to take the time to be the best version of myself that I can be. Because it will be over.
Oh, we're all going to make it all out of this really well. And like I said,
So
how we want to come through this and stuff really makes a big difference.
And I always think, people are waiting to go back to work, waiting for it to be over, waiting for the virus to come, waiting for it just to hit me so I don't have to worry. When they're waiting, they're not creating.
Ah, yes.
They're stuck.
I'm going to steal that. I love that. When you're waiting, you're not creating. I love that.
That's the truth,
It is. So wonderful, Lisa. I really appreciate you adding your love and wisdom to everyone and stuff. I just see the calmness, the peace in your eyes. I just see the love that you're shining and stuff. So I want people to gravitate towards that and grab some of that and use some of that for their advantage and stuff, and just doing some of the things that you said. So yeah, I just want to, again, just really encourage people to see this as an opportunity, see how we can improve. Like you said, is a lot of stuff that we've done in the past has been dismantled. Like I said, life as we know it has completely changed, and it will never go back to where it was 6 weeks ago. So
good thing, we need to change and grow.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. So this gives us a new way to create something brand new. What routines we want to start with our kids, what routines we want to start with our health and our mental well-being and stuff. We get to create some of that stuff right now, and we have the time and the space, a lot of us, to do some of those new things and experiment and stuff and figure out what it is that works best for you. So use this opportunity really wisely.
And there's one more thing, like when people get really, really caught in, their fears got a hold of them. Sometimes they'll say, well, what do I do in the middle of that when they're about to have the panic attack, or when they're too far gone to even think about what we're saying. There's a couple, do we have time for me to share just very easy couple things? Number one, if you could get out ahead of it, when there's certain situations, like if you have to go to the grocery store and it's going to cause you a lot of fear, before you open the door, sit in your car, center yourself by just taking a couple deep breaths. Pre-pave your experience before you get there.
Awesome. Yeah.
So I am safe. So something simple that they can take their fingers and say, peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. By saying it, thinking of it, and with a slight smile. That slight smile signals the body that everything's okay, kind of shuts off that fear, calms you down. That's why yogis smile. They have a slight smile when they're doing yoga. They're not talking, they're not talking about dinner. They have a slight smile. So even if you can walk around the grocery store with a slight smile, it's huge. Then everyone looks at you and they smile. You can't not smile at someone who's smiling at you, and it's contagious.
So true.
So even if you imagine it, it's still doing the same thing in the body. So slight smile. Peace begins with me.
Love that.
Peace begins with me. Before you go into a situation, or your heart's beating, or you're going to the doctor's office, you heard someone cough.
Yep.
It's a way to center yourself, bring yourself back. You're sitting there. A lot of the, I would doodle this in a faculty meeting if I was getting stressed. I would make the infinity sign, because we are everything, And I would make an infinity sign, and everyone's thinking I'm taking notes. And I would breathe as I would doodle. And I would, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Yes.
Breathe in, breathe out as I would doodle. And it would calm my breath, give me something to focus on. And then I could return to what, the situation was.
Yep.
That brings you out of that panic. Just recenters you back to now. So there's a couple tips that I use.
I love those. I love those practical things and stuff to really help center us and actually reconnect to the things that we know we should be doing and stuff. So right there was worth the price of admission, right? So that was awesome. You sharing those 2 tips and stuff. So again, thank you for taking your time to share your wisdom and knowledge with everyone and stuff. So I think we're going to have some other conversations coming up. I'd love for you to reconnect with some of our patients and people and stuff. So look forward to some other things that we can teach everyone. So again, thank you, Lisa. Appreciate you being here and sharing all your gifts with everyone.
Thank you.